lesson right away. Yeah. So I think crowdfunding essentially is all about leveraging the power of communities and being able to reach out to your social networks as well as your early set of customers, your early adopters, and hence kind of reach out to them to get funding, and not just funding but also get market validation. So let me talk a little bit about how crowdfunding is going to shape up the whole global economy. Right. So I think in 2014, crowdfunding has already added about 2.5 lakh jobs in India, and it has already brought world over, and it has already brought about $65 billion into the whole economy. Incidentally, the total size of crowdfunding market has already taken over the total size of venture capital industry as a source of new funding for new ventures. So that is how crowdfunding is growing year on year. And with this rate, it is predicted that by year 2020, crowdfunding will actually be creating more than 2 million jobs, new jobs every year at a global scale. And it will be generating a value of almost $3.2 trillion world over, because the way crowdfunding engages with people, the way crowdfunding is becoming a source of funding and engagement for new ideas. This is becoming this will soon become the mainstay of funding for new age ventures. Talking about Indian perspective, I think crowdfunding is something which is not new, and indeed we Indians have always been reaching out to our social networks for a lot of instances. So be it social functions like marriages, be it our religious festivals, we always have reached out to our friends and family, and that exactly is what crowdfunding is. When you instead of reaching out to 2 or 3 key investors or key sources of fund, you actually reach out to large number of people who believe in your idea, and they can each contribute small amounts and hence pool in a larger amount of money. So that exactly is what we mean by crowdfunding. And incidentally, I think the world's first crowdfunded film, which was Manthan, was a film made in India almost 30 years back, and this was a film in which more than 5 lakh farmers actually gave 2 rupees each to make the film. I think that till date is the biggest example of how crowdfunding has been used. So till date, the amount that has been expected to raise by 2014 is about 15 crores, and it is expected that by 2017 the market would already cross a total of 100 crores to be raised through various crowdfunding platforms and by projects in India. So essentially, crowdfunding is when you are, building on your ideas with your buddies. So that is how it works. So the way it works is that you come to a platform, you put up your project, wherein you talk about what exactly are you trying to do. You kind of put up a small video of what is it that what is it that you're doing, what is your team credentials, and what is it that why do you want the communities to be able to support you on this endeavor. Then once the details are put on the platform and we do a due diligence at our end, we kind of green light your projects, and then we also help you to kind of reach out to your audiences. So the way it happens is once the project is green lit for crowdfunding, we both work as a team, the project and the platform, and we essentially reach out to our friends, our social network, and what we feel are the potential customers for the product or the service that we build in. And what we offer to them is also crowdfunding is a non-equity based funding model. So crowdfunding has multiple models, but the model that we essentially are kind of working on right now is a non-equity based funding model. So essentially it means that you normally would be pre-selling your product or service to this set of people who are contributing to your idea right now. You would not be giving them any equity in your business. And the way it works is that any person who is giving you funding at this stage would essentially be given the product or the app or the service whenever you're ready with it in the market. For example, if I'm working on a new laptop design or I'm working on a new keyboard design, I can actually put it on a crowdfunding platform and reach out to the potential people who I think would be my customers on my social network and tell them that till date I have built the prototype and now I want to raise funds to be able to make manufacture the first 1,000 or 2,000 pieces which I need to reach out to the market, and hence anyone who contributes at this stage would essentially be getting that product first. Whenever the product is ready to be mass distributed in the market. So essentially, that is how crowdfunding works, wherein you collect contribution from people to pre-buy your product and service, and in turn give them some rewards, which could be the product itself or anything which is related to the product in terms of the overall customer experience. As all of you would be knowing that any success story in the whole world normally starts with collaboration, and that exactly is what crowdfunding is all about. So when you are in a very early stage of your idea, when you are just kind of building on your first prototypes, I think that is the best stage when crowdfunding matters a lot and can actually take your idea to a next stage, because as I mentioned that with crowdfunding, it does not only mean funding, it also means a lot of market validation for your idea, and that is what and that's the whole inherent strength of this medium, which is making it popular across the world, and even to the extent that in developed markets like US and Europe, when early stage companies are trying to raise funding, they are normally told by investors to go to the crowdfunding route first, because that shows the kind of traction and the validation that the idea can build, and then come back to them for further funding. Because this also makes it a win-win for everyone. It makes a win-win for the product or the startup, which can now take up funding and also take up the initial traction that it needs to show to the investors. It's a win-win for the early adopters, because they know that they are investing or they are contributing towards the next future idea, and it is a win-win for investors because they have already seen the traction the kind of idea can build, and hence their confidence on the whole product further builds up. So essentially, again, as I said, crowdfunding involves talking about the product, asking about the product, asking for help, and kind of propagating your whole belief. So that is what crowdfunding means. That once your product is ready, once you know that what is it that you're selling to the market, your entire prototyping is done, you can actually use a platform like Catapooolt, to now reach out to the market and tell the whole world that what is it that you are trying to do, so that you get confidence from them and you get your initial funding from them itself without without the need to give away any equity at this stage. Also, as I say, crowdfunding is all about engagement funding, because in here you are not giving away any equity, but you are basically engaging with customers, which actually makes it a better medium, because the research actually shows that for every $1 of money that you raise through crowdfunding is equivalent to almost $10, because you get those additional $9 of engagement, market feedback, product market fit, and creating an excitement, and also pre-marketing your product or idea, and that exactly is the advantage of crowdfunding. Again, a little bit about why essentially students should look at crowdfunding, because I think there are multiple benefits of approaching this route. One obviously is if you approach through crowdfunding, you can easily reach out to your campus network and your alumni network. So if you are in a college and you have an alumni database, so you can actually reach out to that database, and those guys themselves could be sufficient to help you raise the initial 10 to 15 lakhs that you need to be able to build your idea to the next stage, right? Obviously, the other reason being that we all know that at the level of students, the funding opportunities are very limited. Also given the fact that now there are slight winters, so as to say, in the whole funding scenario, and investors are getting very, very careful on where they're putting the money on. I think the whole objective, the whole the whole leverage of crowdfunding has even further increased, right? When you actually start crowdfunding your idea, you also understand that what is, you actually go through those multiple ways of marketing your product in a right way. You understand what is the messaging that works. You understand that what kind of messaging will actually attract your potential customers to come and take interest in your idea. Other than that, as you said, we as a platform also help and support you to augment your idea and kind of help you to increase its reach. So we have our own internal PR skill sets wherein we help you with and kind of create more awareness and create more buzz for your idea. Crowdfunding, I believe, gives you a very interesting way of having access to investors, because tomorrow if you go to early stage investors or go to investor networks and tell them that you have been able to do a successful crowdfunding campaign, they start seeing you in a very different light, because they now know that you already have built your traction, you already have kind of got a validation for your idea, and hence their interest in meeting you, is increased manifold. So I think these are some key benefits why I believe that student entrepreneurs especially should look at crowdfunding as a good source of funding for their ideas when they are at the early stage or at the prototyping stage. Now talking a little bit about the Catapooolt Changemakers Challenge Season 2. So Catapooolt Changemakers Challenge is basically a contest that is organized between Catapooolt and Economic Times, along with a lot of startup ecosystem partners, including the entrepreneurs. So Bhavesh is going to talk about it a little bit more. And this is a contest essentially wherein we are wanting to discover interesting ideas. We are wanting to give a platform to interesting early stage ideas who are now looking to connect with media, with mentors, and with investors. Because as a platform, as a challenge, we will be able to give you all these three components. I think what I will do is, instead of speaking about it, I will just try to play a small video, and maybe that will explain you more about what this whole challenge is all about. Yeah, I believe you will manage to see that video. So essentially, what we have brought on board is leading media, which is Economic Times. The way the contest works is, we are inviting. Oops, just a minute. Sorry for that. Yeah. So what I was just give me a minute. Yeah. So what I was saying was, so we have brought on board about, so the way the contest is going to work is, the applications are currently open. You can just go on to catapooolt.com or Changemakers and just apply with the early stage idea that you're working with. We would then open up a house in the first week of Feb, wherein we will help the startups who have applied to do a small representative crowdfunding campaign with us, so that they can, they can start to get the market validation, and they also get to get an idea of how crowdfunding actually works. Post that, we're going to shortlist top 40 startups who would then be given an access to one-on-one mentorship with our mentorship partner, which are entrepreneurs, along with some of the leading industry champions that we have joined hands with. People like Vineet Singh, who heads marketing for Google India, Jaspreet Bindra, who's the digital innovation head with Mahindras and Mahindras. Post that, these 40 startups would also be given a chance to pitch their ideas to some of the industry's best investors. So we have tied up with about 35 different investor networks, including Mumbai Angels, Indian Angel Network, Unicorn India Ventures, Ivy Cap Ventures, and that is when the finale will happen. So the top 40 startups would actually would get an opportunity to be able to pitch their ideas with these investors. So I believe this could be a good opportunity for you to look at. And to be able to get discovered by investors, by media, as well as by the startup ecosystem partners, and also by a social network. So that is how crowdfunding works, and that is what I want to tell you about the Changemakers Challenge, right? I think I'll pass on the floor to Bhavesh, who will talk about the early stage startups and the importance of mentorship. Bhavesh, over to you.
Great, Satish. Thank you so much. Thank you, NEN. And very good afternoon to everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Great. So thank you, Satish, once again for this awesome insight on crowdfunding. There are a couple of areas that we at the Mentorpreneurs do is assisting startups in their early stage of growth, from ideation to execution is what we engage with. Primarily, the objective of the Mentorpreneurs is to actually mentor startups in various areas of their business. How do you, raise capital is one area where we talk about the do's and don'ts of funding. How much is too much that you need to raise at a certain point of time. Apart from that, the other key areas that we mentor startups is on areas like what should be your GTM strategy, is your business moving to a growth phase, is your business a sustainable business idea, so on and so forth. Coming to a very critical area, where we have seen a lot of challenge is the right guidance in terms of, business engagement. That is where the Mentorpreneurs actually have been able to make a difference. One of the key areas that we primarily focus, and normally during a lot of seminars that we conduct, where we get invited as well, one key question is asked: why is it that you need a mentor, or why does a startup need a mentor? There are some key areas that we normally focus on. One of the critical areas that we focus is having a mentor not only benefits startups or the founders in terms of having a sounding board. A startup mentor is basically a navigator. This actually enables the CEO or the founder to navigate in the right direction. It also helps in identifying what kind of challenges that startup faces in the early stage, and also helps open up a lot of doors, via a lot of network that they have. Now, having said that, selecting a right mentor is a very, very imperative and a very important part. How do you select the right mentor is very critical, because mentoring is not just on and off kind of an engagement. It's more of a process where you need to have the mentor on board for, let's say, 3 to 6 months, depending on the complexity he or she is able to help the startup. And that is what we normally advise, that look, it is a two-way street, and don't look at as a mentor as a problem solver or a magician that can just help startups help them get their problems vanished. It is basically the founder who's actually supposed to be driving the whole business. A mentor comes in when he or she is able to bring that third value proposition or opinion that can be more of a neutral perspective. Because we as founders normally tend to be too attached to our business idea, that we sometimes often ignore certain areas, which can be a threat to business growth. This is where a mentor plays a very critical role, because he or she normally will bring a very rational process or rational thought process and ensure that there is limited or no bias in the opinion that he or she brings on board. It is not only the opinion, but also at the same time a mentor can also help in terms of opening a lot of avenues. One of them is primarily helping connect them with key businesses which can be potential customers. Corporate houses is one of the key areas that they also can help and support. One of the critical areas of mentoring is you need to be able to have a functional expert as a mentor and not as a generic mentor. Because a generic mentor will not be able to solve very critical issues. He or she can just be able to give you directions and do's and don'ts. A functional mentor, say for example, if you are a logistics startup, you're trying to solve a challenge in the logistics area, and there is some critical issue that you as a company or as a founder or a co-founder is facing, where you would want to ensure that your customers are getting the right output or the right solution. But again, there are a lot of challenges that you're facing. That is where a mentor from a logistics background can help you, save the day, because he or she will be able to give you the right options and opportunities in terms of the do's and don'ts and what is it that you're trying to build. That's one area. Another area a mentor can play a role is also in helping you understand whether you're moving in the right direction. It also helps you to have a monitoring platform where he or she can tell you, hey, look, this is what we had decided and this is how we were supposed to be moving. Now, what happened? Why have we missed this particular opportunity or the target that we had set for? So he or she also helps you to be a guide in your progress. That is how you should look at a mentor. At times, there has to be also a rational approach in terms of selecting a mentor. It should not be taken for granted that, hey, look, I have a mentor and he's going to solve all my challenges. That's a very wrong thought and a very wrong expectation. So whenever you select a mentor, it's always better to have set expectations, upfront in terms of what is it that you're expecting from a mentor, what roles and responsibilities he or she can play, as a part of the team or an external part of external support. What is it that he or she is going to gain out of it? Because again, we have seen there are a lot of startups who just put names of professionals whom they have met at various forums, and then approach them saying that, hey, look, we would love to have you on board as a mentor, and put their pictures and profiles on the deck. How efficient and effective are they? It's going to make? Because ultimately, bottom line is, if they are not able to help you out in your journey, I think there's no point in you having them on board. So, don't have mentors for the sake of having them on board. Ensure that they're providing value to you and support to you also. So I think that's something from my end. What we have also done is for early stage startups or ideation phase startups, we are launching a program called the Mentorpreneurs Ideate Program in association with Catapooolt and Venture Catalyst, where we will be picking up a few top startups or ideas and then mentor them, and then they will help them get on the ground as well. So if you want to know more about the initiative, it's www.thementrepreneurs.com/ideate is the website where you could have a look at it. And any student startups who want to enroll, kindly fill up the form which is on the website, and we will get back to you on that. So that's all from my end. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Bhavesh, and thank you, Satish, for the inspiring session. So the audience has a few questions which I will post, and this one is for you, Satish. Is crowdfunding taxable? If yes, under what rule? And if no, how do we account for online transfers? Hello, Satish. Hello, Satish. Okay, the next question to you, Bhavesh. Uh,
Yep.
the how do we select a good mentor? And it's the problem for students to identify or know who is a good mentor. How do we get to know more about this?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, selecting a mentor is also a very daunting task. Okay. The best option for students especially is talking to your parents, number one. Because obviously, your mom or your dad or your brother or your siblings, might be, able to help you in that. That's one. External mentors can be found, maybe your professors and your teachers who could help you in some area. Apart from that, again, it all depends on the kind of business that you are running and the kind of challenges which you are facing. So for example, another example which I'll give you is, let's say, for example, if you are a tech-based startup and you're trying to solve a technology, bring in a technology solution, but then you're not sure in terms of how do you play with the financial numbers. So in that case, our best option is to find a financial expert who could be able to help you solve the challenge. Do not expect, from him to help you in terms of finding out what kind of, price points that I need to sell my product. If you're having challenges in terms of forecasting your business plans or financial plans or financial strategies, if there is a challenge in terms of market output, if you're looking for help in terms of your go-to-market strategy or your Marcom strategy, you should talk to mentors who are experts in the marketing and the branding perspective. So identify your challenge area and then parallelly identify the mentor accordingly. Also, be very careful when you are selecting the mentor. It should be ideally not for a long duration. So you'll also have to have a clear understanding of till how much time do I need this particular professional, on board. Don't get him full-time on board. Maybe you could, probably offer him a sweet equity because obviously, paying a hefty amount as a startup is not going to be feasible. So it's always better to have him on board at a sweat equity perspective. This will help him and you both, to chart out a right direction. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Bhavesh. The next question is, what is the difference between a business consultant and a mentor? Uh, I see both of them as guiding forces. Also, does a mentor need to financially concentrate? So, any inputs?
So a business consultant, is basically a person whom you engage for, let's say, 3 to 6 months. Okay. And you probably have a fixed remuneration attached to it. Okay. So, for example, let's say if I am a consultant where I will provide expert advice in particular areas. Okay, so it can be management, accounting, resources, HR, marketing, finance, so on and so forth. Okay, he will obviously engage a financial expert. Okay, there's a very thin line between a business mentor and a business consultant and a mentor. A mentor is someone who will help you at a short term again, but there is no fixed remuneration that you pay because when you hire a consultant, you will obviously pay him X amount on a monthly basis. Whereas a mentor can be actually given a soft equity, or a sweat equity, and again the financial arrangement can be different. So that is what primarily the difference between a mentor and a business consultant is. A mentor is not gonna be giving you X outputs. He cannot promise you outputs, but a consultant will normally say, hey, look, if I am gonna be able to help you in this, I'll reduce your operational cost by X%. I'll increase your efficiency by Y%. That is what a business consulting is all about. Mentoring is all about helping you analyze certain areas of your challenge, or he's more of a sounding board to you. He will be able to help you maneuver in the right direction, I would say. And what was the second question all about?
Yeah, thank you, Bhavesh. That was it. Satish, we have a question for you. Is it crowdfunding taxable? If yes, under what rules? If no, how do we account for online transfers?
Correct. So I think crowdfunding, especially in a non-equity route, is basically advanced sales, right? So this can be, so if you are a private limited company, whatever advanced sales you get can actually be then adjusted against the cost of sales, which is the cost of doing business. So your CA can help us into this, but this is not taxable as such through the platform. So all the money that you raise through the platform will come back to you, obviously minus the platform fees, with the platform charges, but there is no direct taxation on it because for you this is in your books, this will be treated as advanced sales.
Okay. The next question for you, Satish. Can you share some insights out of any failure experience, so that they can be more careful?
So this is you are asking generally, or this is with respect to a crowdfunding campaign?
Generic on crowdfunding failures.
Okay. So I think it's end of the day in any business. I think it's all about your own enthusiasm, right? So if you're enthusiastic, if you're confident about your own product or service, see, because crowdfunding essentially it involves a very critical component of the willingness to ask, right? The willingness to be able to share your vision with others, and to be able to direct enough to ask for their help, and that unfortunately is still a rare commodity in India, because I think in India, by our societal mindset, we guys are not accustomed to asking. We guys are not accustomed to reaching out for help. So I think that's a very critical component between a successful crowdfunding campaign and a failed crowdfunding campaign. So what I've seen is that if the project managers are equally aggressive and equally confident about their whole campaign as we are, then it normally is able to successfully raise funding because these guys are driven. They have identified the right audience that they need to reach out to. They actually go out and follow with them and ensure that those guys are contributing towards the whole product. So they are innovative in their whole approach. So I think eventually that is the main difference, that if you are enthusiastic, if you are committed enough to make it work, and if you are shameless in just going out and asking for help, success will come calling.
Okay, the next question is for you, Satish. What are the conditions to green light project under crowdfunding?
Right. So we normally look at two, three main factors. One obviously is a due diligence of the product team, right? So which involves both legal due diligence in terms of whether this is okay, your KYC documents are okay, not okay, because since you are basically raising money through public platform, so we do not want a situation that someone would just give a false identity and run away with it, right? The second obviously is we also understand that how strong your team is, because we need to ensure that if you're promising certain thing, you should at least be capable enough of delivering on those things, right? So what is your team? How have you allocated the budgets to it? Are your budgets rational or not rational? So I think so. It's almost like a check which any early investor would do on your business. Post that, we also understand that how appealing your idea is to the community, because, for example, certain ideas may not be fit enough to do crowdfunding. For example, a B2B business plan may not be fit to do crowdfunding, because since it will not excite communities to fund about it, right? So we would prefer to take a more B2C idea than a B2B idea. And third thing is obviously, as I mentioned initially, that we need to see that kind of enthusiasm in you as a project owner, that okay, I will go out and I will ask people and I will identify the people who I think can contribute to my campaign, because crowdfunding is always a team effort. So it is not that when you put your project on a crowdfunding platform, you have outsourced your fundraising. No, it is still you who will have to drive it down. It is still you who will lead the whole effort. We are there only to augment and support you from back. We cannot take the front end position there, because that is not our role. Our role is to to able to help out winners and help out you guys, handhold you, strategize you, but ultimately you are the champions who have to go out and make this work.
Thank you, Satish. And we have our next question for Bhavesh. How do you know whether the mentor is effective or not?
That's a good question.
As I say, when you're selecting a mentor, you need to obviously have a clear-cut expectation set. What is it that you're expecting from the mentor? How he or she is going to be able to help you derive the desired output. Also, there has to be a frequent communication channel between both the mentee and the mentor. For example, let's say you should connect over a weekly calls or monthly meetings. Identify what all pain areas that you have been facing and what kind of solutions that you're able to bring on board. And there is a matrices that you will be able to figure out that, hey, look, this is what I have been able to solve. I have been able to save money here, there, and so on and so forth. But yeah, positive results in terms of growth of business, are under some of the indicators that can, be an opportunity or visible outputs. Also, another area where you could look at outcomes is, has the strategy been able to benefit, the startup in a positive direction? Has it been able to save or minimize the problem? Is another way you could look at it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bhavesh. Satish, next question for you. What does a crowdfunder expect in return of the funds?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned, there are multiple models of crowdfunding. So there's a pure play donation-based model wherein it is very clear that the contributor is just making a donation to a specific project. In our case, it's a reward-based crowdfunding, so which means that for every slab of contribution, we sit down with the project and list down some rewards which we would give to the contributor. So this could be like for 1,000 rupees, I will thank you on my social media that you have played a key role. For 10,000 rupees, I will give you my product whenever it is ready. For 50,000 rupees, I will bring you to my factory and let you explain the whole process, blah blah. So there could be any tangible or intangible experiences with the product or the service that is being crowdfunded here, and those are actually given out as rewards to these contributors. So that is what the contributor gets. So which is what I said, so this is not a rational investment. This is more an engagement kind of an investment, wherein the contributor knows that he will not get anything financially out of it, but still he is helping the product or the idea, or he will be the first one to actually use that product or idea, and hence he is an early adopter customer for the service.
Thank you so much, Satish. Next question for you, Bhavesh. How do we get the co-founders? And here's one more question. How do we resolve conflicts between the mentor and the other half, that is co-founder?
So selecting a co-founder is the first question I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
It is very critical to have a co-founder in the first place. Okay. The reason being is, if you're running a business, it also needs someone with complementary skills, and this helps you to scale faster. It also becomes, a sounding board, having two people. When an investor invests in a particular business, the first thing they see is how strong the team is. How capable is the team. If you have a single founder running a business, that doesn't mean that the business cannot be successful. The chances of being successful is as bright as chances of having 2 or 3 people. The whole objective is how efficiently and effectively this single-handedly person or the team is able to implement those business ideas into business and make profits or revenues, for example. Having said that, the plus benefit that a co-founder brings would be the pace at which the execution can happen of the idea. The growth can be accelerated as well. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is having a co-founder which has a complementary skill also enables both parties to actually move faster in the right direction. So for example, if you are a tech guy, and you know coding and technology very well, and you're building a product, technology-based product for the market, be it B2C, B2C, irrespective of that. Someone with knowledge of the market, understanding of the technology domain, or marketing side or branding side or sales side, can definitely add a lot of value as a co-founder, because then for you to have a go-to market strategy becomes much more faster. Your GTM strategy becomes much more faster. Implementation of and execution of your business idea becomes much more faster. So that is what the benefits are. Coming to the second question in terms of conflict resolution, I think the best part is to, number one, is to have set certain parameters and expectations. That's the first way to eliminate challenges or conflicts. Second is transparency, bringing transparency in the process. Third is having an open-ended conversation. If there is chances of a conflict of interest, is it identifying the challenge in terms of, is it a monetary conflict or is it more of a understanding conflict? Also, many a times what happens is the conflict arises because a mentor might have told you, area where you need to focus, but unfortunately, because of ego or because of some personal initiative, that has not been implemented, and that is where clashes would have happened. So I think most of the time we have seen ego clashes are the biggest problem creators. Apart from that, obviously, if you only are looking at giving, taking, and not trying to give back, is another area where conflict arises. Third is looking at mentor as a magician to help you solve problems. Is another misconception which brings in a lot of problems or challenges, I would say.
Well, thank you so much, Bhavesh. Thank you both for the inspiring session. Thank you all the attendees. We are glad that the questions kept coming in, but due to lack of time, we may not be able to answer them all. Please do send in your feedback in the link once the webinar is closed. And also we will share the recorded webinar with all the participants tomorrow. And we also have one more webinar coming up on 24th Jan. This is on need for a mentor, and you will receive the invitation shortly on the next webinar. So thank you, Bhavesh, and thank you, Satish, for this wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a lovely day.
Bye, everyone.